Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to my exciting first look at Falling Frontier. Back in May of 2020, this game was announced by the developer, and man, did it really get everyone excited, and I completely missed out on it. Well, a few weeks ago, the developer reached out, and they had asked me if I was interested in Falling Frontier, and though they don't yet have a build available for the public for any sort of gameplay or public test, the footage makes that torture even greater. This is incredible, really good-looking stuff where we can build our very own fleets, our own space stations, and conquer our own planets in this a 4X space grand strategy sci-fi game, of course, allowing us to explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. This game is coming 2021 to PC and also has a Steam listing if you want to add it to your wish list. Of course, games like, for example, Surviving Mars and Dyson Sphere Program come to mind, as well as Stellaris and a little Star Citizen and maybe No Man's Sky, all sprinkled into what seems to be a perfect balance, for me at least, for mining and building and conquering. Games such as Stellaris and whatnot, I always thought lacked kind of the ability to hover over your stations and see things in such a beautiful light, though they definitely come close and give me everything that I want for a Hearts of Iron-like experience in that grand strategy. This game seems to be on a scale that is much more palatable for me to see beautiful battles and great close-up stations where instead of it just being you as an individual space soldier or perhaps a miner, no, this allows you to take command of multiple stations and build them to create things like ships and power and refine above certain planets, as well as creating your own scenarios and creating biomes for those planets that you may have had to be tasked with taking over. Of course, it'll have Steam Workshop support, and it really looks beautiful in terms of how things are being transported in what seems to be a more realistic future for our current timeline. A little bit more Star Citizen in its seriousness than, for example, No Man's Sky. Although it's not really good or bad in those games, that's really just something on the side to keep in mind that this really reminds me of a lot of those. What I've wanted from those games is, of course, a strategy game. Well, we're going to take a look at some never-before-seen footage here today. The developers sent over about a 10-minute piece of warfare and custom shipbuilding that we haven't seen, so you'll be able to see more of that in detail. And, of course, this beautiful, beautiful trailer. We'll show some footage as of now, the May 2020 trailer, and at the end, some E3 footage from Fallen Frontier, and then, of course, somewhere in the middle, we'll take a look at some more things that really are impressive to me. I'll chime in throughout the entirety of the trailer here, but, of course, I want to give this game all the respect that it deserves, because this is one that I might really find to be a delight for quite some time, and of course try over and over again to build different ships and create my own scenarios and empires and such and make it really cool. Alright, well, if you haven't already, welcome everybody to the channel, and make sure you subscribe. And thank you very much for smashing like to let me know if you're excited for this one, and let me know what you think down below. What do you think of the appearance of the game? Do you like grand strategy games? Is it not for you? What types of games do you like from space the most? Let me know down below, and I'll chime in whenever there's some ships later on that really, really caught my eye. Enjoy. Alright, here we are now to take a look at a little bit of the shipbuilding in the game. This, of course, was a space station where then we can design and create our very own fighters and cruisers and destroyers. And the art style is just incredibly impressive. I love this. Almost forgot about Homeworld and Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Kind of reminds me a little bit of those games, though it has a little bit more detail. I really like the ship shapes and, of course, all of the weapons that we can put on them. Customization of paint jobs and all the stats and information are well done. There's a lot of love here, a lot of minor details that make a massive amount of difference, and I'm really hoping that some of these ships, again, these remind me of some of the ships from Elite Dangerous and also Star Citizen, that we get to design more than just our fighters and things like freighters. And I think I've seen that as well. There's been some cargo ships that are literally hauling around giant containers that just really look awesome. The ability to pick our crew makes it a little bit like Faster Than Light, where, of course, you make a few ships, you pick some crew members, and you could have yourself a whole ace squadron that could not be defeated, such as, like, for example, an Air Force squadron that were legendary. Really good stuff. A lot more to see, too, about the customization of the campaign mode and custom scenarios. So make sure you keep an eye on a little bit more of this footage, as that'll be coming very shortly. But boy, do I love some of this military stuff and all the customization that we can do if we wish, or we can just kind of jump in and do whatever. It's good. Options are good, and I see this game having plenty. Jumping in now to a little bit of the scenario creator, this has probably got me the most excited to see what the community can do once they grab hold of this one and, of course, sink their teeth into it. The editor itself seems really well polished, and, of course, the ability to make all sorts of different planets. After maybe perhaps playing some procedurally generated games, you might be able to then make your own scenarios and share them with others, where, of course, a planet with a bunch of moons, or some rings, or perhaps a gas giant could be used for all sorts of different resources. And not only would you be then mining the planet, but its rings itself, or perhaps making bases on the moon. Now, I'm not sure if we can make actual bases on planet surfaces, but imagine how detailed it could be if you've locked down a planet and all of its moons into a massive fortress that's continuously pumping out ships. This really just has me gushing over all the options, the potential for a game like this, and all the little polish that you don't think would matter too much, yet actually does. Moons are being placed around the planet. You can see orbits and things and all these little details that make a big difference. And the scaling here is just, again, perfect. You can zoom in all the way to the surface of a moon, zoom out to the surface of a planet, and then zoom out to see an entire solar system in a real seamless way. Not really any sort of sign of loading or any difficulty of a lot of different menus. Things seem to be simple, and they don't have to be, yet they are. And sometimes simplicity can ruin a game and make it way too simple, wanting you to have more. But this actually seems to be quite good, and I really am hoping to see a lot more mods coming soon as well. You can check that out, of course, the different types of detail height of mountains. We can fill them with rivers and lakes. Imagine that, just customizing your very own planet, such as Earth, and then going out and taking all sorts of different planets around and conquering everything. In the name of Raptoria. Glory to Raptoria, as always. Right, there's some more footage coming very soon from Falling Frontier for E3 that you may have seen before, but I'm just impressed to see a lot of the custom shipbuilding, which I've wanted from every game, and custom planet building, which sometimes can be too complicated and tedious, but a few sliders and some really nice blending of all the different styles and biomes and things really looks awesome. Alright guys, let's jump into some more footage from Falling Frontier. Let's keep on watching. This is good stuff. Oh, the battles. They've got me going. Look at all that debris, all the smoke, all the beautiful lighting and such. This is really, hopefully a big promise that's going to be kept here. This is going to be one of those games where you, of course, hope and wish that it'll be good, and turns out to be. Again, with all the little attention to detail of everything, like, for example, the expanding vision of bearings for other spaceships, and, of course, all the lighting and particle effects that I've already mentioned, and all the things exploding. All the little details make me feel like the main overall kind of design, or the overall mechanics, or really how everything is meant to be, and all the things that you can do are well put together to make it an interesting game. Now, I want to see more things like, for example, the economy and trading, and seeing if you could do other types of expansion other than just being the only sole empire. But this is a starting point. A starting point, hopefully, for a game that turns out to be absolutely phenomenal and that we want to see more of in the future. I've already taken a look at my Steam store page, too, for this one, and taken a look at all the people who've wanted it from my Steam list. And, of course, this is definitely the type of game for people who enjoy grand strategy, but also perhaps space simulation as well. So this is a good opportunity for a lot of people perhaps to get into real-time strategy RTS 4X games that may have not tried before. And, of course, if you're a big fan of games like Stellaris and whatnot, maybe you'll check it out, too. Now, again, I haven't been paid to say any of this. The developer was kind enough to reach out. I'm very excited to give it a try myself whenever I have the opportunity to do so. So, again, do subscribe to the channel, and whenever we have some gameplay footage to take a look at, we will definitely rip it apart and see if we can get our ships destroyed and destroy enemy ships, and see what the scenario editor is like, and try all sorts of new stuff in the future. You guys have been great. Thank you very much for tuning in. Another special thanks to the developer of Falling Frontier for sending over just a great amount of footage. And, of course, I'll see you guys soon.